Hey everyone, welcome to Pluto's Underworld for another episode of GodKiller Generations. Um, Actually, before we get into the episode, let's just do this now, get it out of the way. Jenna, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and plug anything that you want to plug now before we get
Sure.
into this?
Jennadaggers here, which is where you can kind of find me all in different corners of the internet. We have a few exciting projects together coming up, Paige. So you can go check that out on Somebody's Heroes on whatever you wherever you listen to your podcasts and such. And I kind of just wander from tabletop to tabletop, so you'll stumble across me somewhere.
Perfect, love that. But yeah, let's just dive right into this as we try to kill the Scion, the Nephilim, I should say, of reality tonight. So it has been about 220 years in the Enclave since the passing of the previous god-killer Edenia. And in that time, since Ergo's passing and Edenia has moved on as well, ambition has completely died out in the Enclave. People are more okay with their lives. They wake up, go to work, build families, get married, all that traditionalism that's expected of them, they just kind of fall in line, and it becomes more mundane as the centuries go on, except for one person. As god killers aren't really affected by changes in reality and perception or just changes in personality that others are affected as these gods die. And our story starts, of all places, in a middle school located in District 3 of the business district, near one of the suburbs surrounded the different hubs that takes you deeper into the district to head to work or go to business or whatever you're doing in District 3. We see desks broken, scattered across the room, easels ripped apart, paint kind of splattered everywhere, and laying on the ground, this unassuming white man, probably about late 60s, with a broken quill next to him. And as this figure approaches him on the ground, Jenna, why don't you go ahead and describe your character for us?
Okay. You can tell just by like looking at her, she's pissed off at, the kind of cards that life has given her, not necessarily ever forming a genuine smile, more of a smirk. She has dark black hair that goes to just below her collarbones in a nice kind of like straight lob, sort of. Um, and yeah, she has a beauty mark right here on her cheek, and she has pretty pale skin with some freckles on her nose.
Perfect. You approach this man who you've thrown across this room, beaten the shit out of, and kind of ambushed. Um, this is your old art teacher who taught about probably about 20, maybe 15 years ago. You were in this room with him and was unassuming. You weren't the best art student, so he didn't really pay you too much attention. You came to class, he seemed reasonable enough, took on a couple of your students as pupils, but you recently found out as you were digging deeper and deeper into the god that you're so mad about that people that have seen this teacher who had all this like skill and artistic ability never made anything of themselves. No one really looked into it. They would have a great career, maybe going to middle school competitions for like a year or so, and then just kind of lost their talent. You're pretty sure that's not how that works. You're pretty sure that's not natural. And as you dug deeper, you found a connection to Tiku, where your teacher actually met him when he was one of the first people to meet him as he approached the mortal realm. So here you are, standing over this teacher. Didn't really get too far into interrogating because of your hot headedness and just kind of beat the crap out of him. And as he's laying pretty much half dead below you, what do you say as you approach? He's just kind of sitting up coughing, paint splattered all over, plaster from going into the ceiling and the walls. Just this old beaten man before you.
Yeah, I think B has kind of like looked into this and is kind of just disgusted by the fact that someone who's supposed to nurture creativity and talent instead kind of takes it for himself. And I think she almost pities him in a way because even with all of that power, he's just a mediocre middle-aged man, or he
Mhm.
was
He's
teaching at a middle school.
still at the middle school, yeah.
And I think she'll just kind of like kick his foot and just kind of scoff and just say, pathetic.
You know what? I missed you too.
Oh, you're talking to me.
Oh yeah, you didn't really give me much chance to at first. Why do I owe the pleasure?
So, turns out you actually have a little bit of a secret.
So you ambush me?
I think I did the world a favor.
Hmm, what exactly are you talking about? I'm probably a little concussed at the moment, so you're gonna have to lay it out to me.
You can play dumb or admit to it. It's not going to change your fate. But it might give you some, moments of actually being a decent person.
Why don't you just tell me what you think you know?
Well, you're tied to the God of Reality. And the reason why is you are actually kind of the cardinal of ideas. And it seems, well, perhaps that would be a perfect place if you were, I don't know, not eating the ideas of your students and most talented people.
Hmm.
How do you live with yourself?
You see him kind of pale a little bit as you kind of lay this all out, like in such detail. Hmm. What I did for them was less cruel than what this world would do to them. Art is a hard place to make it into. It's thankless. It's hard to survive, especially here in District 3. Like, no one cares about artistic abilities. They would have been crushed later anyway. Might as well save them the effort now so that they can move on with their lives.
Oh, how kind and generous of you. You must think yourself a saint for doing them that favor.
I did what any teacher would do. I kept
You
in the
stole what made them them.
I saved them from break-in later by society
You didn't give them the opportunity to. You made that choice yourself. Why should you get to govern that?
because I care about my students.
Interesting way of showing it.
You don't get to judge me. What have you done with your life?
You don't get to tell me what I can and can't do. Not anymore.
So what is this? Are you you fashion yourself to like what kill me?
Oh,
Kill
that's
Tiku?
exactly what I'm going
Is
to be
that what
doing.
is that what we're doing here?
That's exactly what I'm going to be doing. And I imagine like she's just kind of like nonchalantly like running her finger along the desk until she gets to like the quill
You know,
to see if he
you
squirms.
see the quill on the desk. The tip has been broken off, and that's what you felt. Magic connected to him to the quill has been it went inert. And yeah, as you see, if you approach the quill and kind of pick up the quill tip, he kind of flinches hard.
She's gonna be like toying with it in between her fingertips.
You should put that down.
Plucks a feather off or like a little piece off.
You don't know what you're doing.
Pen is mightier than the sword. But it runs out of ink, I hear. And she's just going to snap it.
Hmm. You already broke it enough.
Well, what can I say? I'm destined for greatness. Why not break more?
What is it you want with me? Obviously, you say you're gonna kill me, so why not do it? Get it over with.
Sometimes I like playing with my food.
So you become sadistic since graduating. Love that for you.
No, I've seen what life does to people. It chews them up and spits them out with zero regard. And I figure, why should I not be the one doing the chewing and spitting?
So you come after me?
Yep,
I
take
didn't
some back.
do anything to you.
No, you didn't.
You barely passed this class, actually, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
So
You're in my way.
I'm in your way. This could have been a conversation. This could have been more civilized. Don't
You
you?
erased that possibility when you erased what made people them.
You just talked about yourself, how this world is chewing and spitting you out. And you don't think that I was trying to save my students from that same thing?
I think you must be absolutely mad if their fate is just mediocrity, is a blessing.
Mediocrity is safe.
Mediocrity is fucking boring.
We live in a world where gods dictate our every move. We don't even own our own realm anymore. They come and go as their pleasure. And yeah, I chose an easy option by siding up to one. So what? Isn't that what you're doing now? You're trying to crave power for yourself? Is that why you're here?
No, I'm just
How does
making
that make
choices
you
for
any
myself.
different than me?
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you're just on the other side. Seems you chose wrong.
Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Who's to say?
But I'm saying right now because, I have the other hand here.
Yeah. Why don't you just get on with it then?
Yes. And is he like, can I just like drive the quill into his ear, into his
Yeah, you
brain,
can
and
kill
then
him
just
however you
like,
want. He's pretty much done.
perfect. That's what I would love to do.
Yeah, so you pick up the scroll tip. It's probably maybe that big left now after you've broken it a few times and just jab it into his eye.
Perfect.
And as you feel him spasm below you, you, in your hand, before we do this, actually, we need to make a roll. Because this technically falls under Kill a God. I need you to roll me 2d6.
Okay.
And we're going to see what happens here.
Two fives. That's a
Ooh,
10.
okay. So it's a strong hit. So their death is going to transform, liberate, or shield an aspect of the cradle. Describe what and how. So, how does them dying as their divinity sparks out chaotically as you kill them, and you feel part of this divinity in yourself, it continues to spread past you? How does this change the enclave? What vital thing in the world changes with the death of the cardinal of imagination?
Hmm. I feel like with the death of imagination, I can't tell which way it would go exactly, but it could be fun. Um, I think people get so methodical and so overthinking and overanalyzing of absolutely everything, of just really focusing on the minutiae of things rather than going with the flow and feeling it out.
Okay.
And it becomes very fucking boring.
So it makes the world even more boring as people
It
start to
makes it, yeah.
causes
Whoops.
people to think more logically as opposed to
But like the
creatively.
people that are creative, that did have like their creativity and ideas zapped from my teacher, I imagine them to be even more creative than they ever were before.
Okay.
Like it helped them like unleash their full potential and more. Like it makes them absolute masters of their craft and whatnot.
Okay. So it causes people, the general people, to think more logically, but gives back the artistic talents tenfold to
Exactly.
the students. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, and as you feel this divinity enter your body, and you feel it kind of spread out, you can kind of trace it, and you actually feel these threads connecting the people across the city, and you see faces of students all the way down till you remember two students from your own class that were incredibly talented, and you see both of them in business jobs now, kind of heads snap up and immediately go start to doodle on their desk and draw the most beautiful portraits or drawings of whatever was on their mind at that moment.
However disillusioned it may be, I think the kind of thing she did a good service here.
Yeah. And as his body starts to disintegrate after killing him, you open your hand, and in your hand is a beautifully crafted golden quill.
Ooh.
As you have stolen his power. Now you have some control over imagination. We'll see what
Love
that
that
does
for
for
me.
you. But with that, where would you like to go next? You didn't get much information out of him. You kind of went all in and just murdered this guy.
I guess I'll probably, I mean, I think she's going to assume that nobody would ever figure this out. She's going to assume that he thought nobody was ever going to figure this out. So any information he did have, he would probably have like in his desk and readily accessible. So I think she's just going to go search that and see if she can find any information that she probably could have just gotten from him had she
Okay,
asked.
perfect. Just roll me 2d6 flat.
5 and 3.
Okay, so that's a hit. Yeah, you start searching through his desk. You go through, you find papers, you find grade-ins, you start going through syllabus stuff, like all the normal stuff you would expect to find in a desk room in a class. As you're kind of searching under, you look under like the middle part where his legs would go, and you see a latch. And as you pull that, you actually see a hidden compartment open up on the floor underneath his desk with a safe. And as you open the safe itself, you find correspondence with Tiku, of just kind of his comings and goings, of when he's going to be in town, where his house is in District Zero, warnings not to go there because of stuff like that. It doesn't look like Tito's responded to him in about 20 years now. So you would assume he would still be probably in District Zero somewhere.
Okay.
Which District Zero is very hard to travel as a mortal, so you will need a lot of preparation before going that way. Most people don't last more than a few hours out in those lands.
Okay, so I got to make those few hours count then.
Mm-hmm.
I think she does enjoy being prepared. Has there been any like legends or stories of any mortal traversing to District Zero and surviving?
So
Like,
District
is
Zero,
there like a crazy old hermit in town?
you know that District Zero is kind of where the impact point was, like centuries, millennium ago, even why the gods came to the enclave to try to help reset everything. Some calamity hit there, and now it's like not totally irradiated, but it's very toxic to mortal kind. Most people go there with hazmat suits if they do, and even that doesn't really protect them for too much longer. Um, roll me. You have D20 nearby?
I sure do.
Roll D20.
Okay, 13.
Okay. You know legends of Adenia because, you're not very happy with what she did. Killing Ergo, killing Ambition had a negative impact on your life personally. You're not where you wanted to be, but this is kind of where your family and friends kind of pushed you along to. And as you were doing research on Adenia, you actually remember one of her family members, like one of her older cousins, actually did make a trip to District Zero and survive. Her family used to be famous adventurers a long time ago. Obviously, most of them have passed on at this point, but you do know from trace and lineage that that cousin did have a family and branch off. So some of his descendants are probably still up in District 1,
And it seems like
like
that's her
on that.
next step.
Yep. Okay, cool. So yeah, as you head out, you leave District 3. You head to the tree. You head to the CTA station. There's a transport here that goes between all the districts, as well as going to God's Isle. It's free unless you're going to God's Isle because God's Isle is expensive to go to. And you travel through up to where the former Adventurers Guild has been. The Adventurers Guild obviously closed shortly after the death of Ergo. For a while, it was a kind of like police station. They kind of helped govern law for a bit, but then even that got boring. And now it's just kind of an abandoned building. It sits on the edge of District 1 and District 2. Um, and as you trace back where the family was lived, it was like most of them settled in District 2. District 2 is mostly farmland, some like suburbia type towns, and like little villages here and there. But yeah, you arrive in the center of District 2 and you don't know really where to go. So where do you want to head from here to try to trace this guy down?
Um, if there is like suburbia, I think she'd probably try to find like one of the more like densely populated suburbs or whatever, and go to wherever has a town or a mini mall to start listening to conversations to see if she can ascertain
Yeah,
anything.
you can like
Because
there's definitely like
one
a
thing she knows about small towns is that they fucking run their mouths and overshare and speculate wildly and whatnot. So she's going to try to bank on that for some information, even if it might be misinformation.
well, you are in a farming district, which means there is a big farmers market
Let's go.
not too far away from where the travel point is that's where they would want people visiting to buy
Yeah.
their wares. So yeah, you can just within walking distance head into the most massive farmers market you could probably think of. Whatever farmers market you've been to in real life, Jenna, just like times that by 10. This place is literally massive. Every type of fruit, grain, meat, any type of food or plant type substance you would think of is in this place. It's honestly kind of beautiful. But
Do
yeah,
they have any like wares or anything also?
yeah, they have different trinket booths that some like handcrafted people have made. There's like wood carving booths. There's like glass blowing. There's some like knockoff jewelry. It doesn't you can very light glance. It's not the real
Yeah.
article, but it's finely crafted. Some are like just perfect gems on necklaces or bracelets or whatever. Some are crafted into like different animal shapes or even like symbols of the different gods. But yeah, it seems like a very lively day. It's pretty busy. People going to and from the booths, happiness kind of radiating here. There's no business or there's no gods that really partick too much in District 2. So it's a pretty jovial place, actually.
I think she's going to take like a little moment of appreciation for that because like she doesn't really get this back in District 3. Everyone's just so focused on all the
Mm-hmm.
things and everything they have to do. And just gonna take back and enjoy, kind of like browse the wares, try to listen to any conversations. If she sees any like gaggle of people, she would probably try to go to the booth closest to that.
Okay. Yeah, probably the biggest booth right now would probably be, let me think. Honestly, it'd probably be like the areas where like freshly grown product is. Like they have an area like they kind of level the food out by like what's fresh and they just brought into market as opposed to what doesn't have as long as a shelf life because that stuff will be like sold quicker because it's gonna expire soon. But yeah, you see like people just go into like the fresh produce and the fresh like meat and stuff that's just been brought into the market today. And you see there's like a long
Yeah, are there any
line
free
there.
samples?
Yeah, there's some free samples.
Oh hell yeah.
You can get some free samples of like there's different like fruit trays laying around. There's some veggie platters. There's even some like meat and crackers kind of laid out across. So yeah, you can just walk right up to that and start partaking. There's like a little area in the middle of all the booths that's just kind of open for the public to snats as they shop.
I think like being here, it's almost going to make her feel a tiny bit of remorse for what's about to happen and what she's seeking out and
Yeah.
what she's seeking to do. Because these people seem to enjoy their reality. And she's about to absolutely decimate that.
Yeah,
But
we're gonna actually do a roll here, actually. Or not a roll,
yeah.
but a move. So you are here, kind of out of place, and you're trying to like connect between what you're trying to do with like how it's gonna affect these people who don't seem to have the same issues as you. And as you're trying to connect with these people, answer one of these two questions for me, Jenna, and I'm gonna answer the other one. What common ground do you share with these people? What still divides you? Which of those two questions do you want to answer?
I think the common ground aspect where yeah, it might not be the most glamorous life that both her and the people of this district have, but it is a life. And we're not living in squalor. We're not struggling to scrape by. Like everything is mostly okay, but it is once again just mediocrity and settling for that. And the thing that does make them different is that she doesn't ever want to settle for mediocrity,
Yeah.
but these people seem to be okay with it.
No, that's
But there
fair.
is that common ground or the common thread that kind of lines up and then splits off at the end there.
And I think as you like look around and you see these families and you see kids playing around the market and you see people like jovially banter to each other as they sell their goods, I think the thing that divides you as you look at these people is they're genuinely happy.
Yeah.
They have accepted their mediocrity, but it like they love their lot in life. Like they're happy, they have their families, they have good jobs, they just enjoy the life that they've chosen for themselves. So yeah, they might be living like a more mediocre life, being lower class, maybe upper lower if they're lucky. It doesn't seem to change any of their moods. This place seems so much livelier than any you've been to before in your life. And you know the decision you're going to make might affect that.
And I think where she gets a little disillusioned is the fact that I think she believes she can make it better for them. Like, she's like, this is just reality for you, but like, what if I could improve that?
Fair enough. But yeah, you said you were trying to listen for information, so
Yes, 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 yes.
um I think the things you pick up generally as you're listening around, it's been like harvest week this week. They just got a lot of new produce in, especially for some vegetables. The weather's been really great this week. They've been able to bring a lot of crop in from that. Um, there's been a lot of like travel through the district from other districts. You've heard that people from District 3 are here, even some from the Red District and District 4, which people don't leave District 4 too much because it's just pure sets and chaos and fun. So people like to stay there as much as they possibly can. And actually, as you look around, you even see some people from God's Isle, which is very obvious as they are wearing probably their jewelry is more expensive than this whole market alone. But yeah, you don't really see any obvious signs of this guy. You don't really know who, you know a name. You don't know what their descendant looks like. You don't know what they would be. You just know they're in this area somewhat. So probably gonna have to ask around.
Okay. So this might be just a New York thing, but in farmers markets here, there's a bunch of like local distilleries of like breweries or whatever, like making like
There's
natural like
definitely
mead and like
breweries.
things like that.
There's
Yeah. So
hundred
I think
percent.
she's going to go there because she's going to rely on the inhibitions of alcohol to get people to slipped.
Yeah, as you head over that way, you see most of the I would say like the sons of these farmers or like the farmer hands people
Perfect.
that would work on these farms that aren't selling this
Perfect.
stuff already heavily intoxicated drinking mead as there's definitely a lot of grain farmers who turn that into natural mead and beers and stuff that they bring to market to sell. Um and this place is very packed already. It's like midday and people are already fucked up at this like little mini tavern that they've set up outside.
And you said it's like fairly crowded-ish.
Yeah, it's like it's just like an open area. It's like a lot of
Okay.
tables and benches, but they have like a long counter that's kind of crafted where you see different people from the different places like have their own craft beers pretty much put up. It's like IPA mead.
Perfect. I think she's going to like if there's like any like menu or whatever, she's going to try to kind of like feign squinting at it and like trying to discern what to get until hopefully some very helpful person comes along and gives her a suggestion.
Yeah, there's definitely like so there's probably like six different vendors, and each one has like a little mini menu of what kind of alcohol they're selling. But yeah, you're kind of like standing at the edge of the line, kind of browsing. Let's see. I rolled double ones, so why don't you tell me who comes up to you?
I imagine the person that comes up to me is like, whatever. What's the farm version of a fuckboy?
I mean, I think it's still a fuckboy.
Okay.
I don't think that
Yeah.
changes it.
Yeah, but it's like a completely different vibe. It's like a different flavor.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah.
No, I got the
And she's
vibe.
going to use that to her advantage and just be like,
Yeah,
you
this
must be
tall.
so wise. Please tell me, what's your favorite?
Yeah, you kind of side up in line next to this guy.
She'll like play with her hair, brush it off. So, a little bit of
He's
collarbone.
about 6'4", very tan from being out in the sun most of his life. Freckled skin, bright red hair, kind of cut in like a tapered fade, and he's just jacked. Like he's not wearing anything but overalls. Like his body's completely out besides these overalls. Yeah, and as you slide up to me,
Perfect.
he like looks around and looks down at you, and he's like, "Oh, you're not from around here, are you?"
No, I'm not. Mind
Definitely,
showing me some ropes?
yeah, I definitely would remember you specifically. Yeah, what are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for a few things. One, to sample, the goods of the land. Um, Two, looking for a person also, but
Okay.
it's a little weird. How about this? You tell me your favorite drink, and I'll get one of those, and then we can talk.
Okay, yeah, I was actually about to just get there's this really good honey mead that this place makes. It's like really like it's not too sweet, but it's very strong. It's like the strongest drink here every year. So,
There
get
you
us a
go.
couple muds of that. Why don't you grab us a table and I'll head over and we can definitely chat some more. As he very obviously chat you, like not even he's like very obviously looking you up and down.
Perfect.
Very cool. Yeah, he'll walk up to the bar and you see him order like two like these are massive. They're like this big. They're like
Nice.
that big of muds. He just brings them back and it's like this honey gold like color with very frothiness at the top. And he just kind of like sets it down, kind of overfilling a little bit as it sits down onto the table. It's like, oh, sorry about that. There, it's fine. Definitely drink quick. It's best when it's cold.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
And so I'll take like not a massive sip, but like a healthy sip, like not like a nice little like dainty amount. But she'll be
It's
like, oh, like she'll
really
try to
good.
kind of like impress, like be like, oh yeah, this bitch can like handle her alcohol or whatever, and like try to appeal to the wiles of the
Yeah,
farmyard boy.
it's really good. It's probably the best mead you've had. District 3 is mostly wines and fancy liquors and all this bullshit that it all does the same thing, but this it tastes like you can just taste a hint of honey before like this warm feeling just like slides down your throat. It just literally feels like home almost.
Right, this is nice.
Yeah, it's very relaxing. It'll hit you hard though, so try to pace yourself a little bit. As you see, he's already
Okay.
drinking half of his.
Just like you're pacing yourself.
I'm a lot bigger than you though, and I've been drinking these for a lot longer as well.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
now tell me, what's anything interesting happening around these parts? Because I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what it's like here, but
um,
District 3 has been so mundane since,
oh,
your
District
whole adventuring.
3. That makes yeah, you give off business, girl. That makes that. I mean, that explains the clothes. He like gestures to your very obviously different attire than his.
Yeah, like I imagine these kind of like the edgy, like not corporate goth, but like edgy corporate, if that makes sense. So like just like a tailored men's suit vest and a pair of like slim fit pants or something.
Mm-hmm. It's like boss bitch mask
Yeah,
look like
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. But still very femme also.
Love it. Yeah. I mean, it's Harvest Week, so most everyone from the district is here selling their stuff. My dad's over there. And he points to like one of the produce areas where you see like fresh like apples being sold. Yeah, we're an apple farm. I usually only drink cider, so I usually just come here for the mead, so I can drink anything else, honestly. Um, but yeah, it's nice. This is probably like the one of our busiest weeks of the year, and it's pretty fun. A lot of people come into the district, get to meet new people like yourself, actually.
Hmm. So it's a fun time.
It really is. There's even going to be music and dancing later in like a few hours. You should definitely stay. I could show you around more.
Perhaps I will. Now, I heard a little rumor about this abandoned building nearby,
I'm gonna
kind of on the border right between here and District 1. Have you ever been to District 1?
No, I can't say I have. Not a lot of Myers live around here. Some do, but they live close to the edge. There used to be that guild hall out that way, but that's been abandoned for years now. I mean, there's really no point in having it anymore. I think most kids just go there as like a prank if anything. Oh, if we stay the night, then Adenia's ghost will haunt us or whatever bullshit they come up with. But I don't know. I've never been.
Whatever. What is the bullshit they come up with?
I don't know.
What is this? Folklore.
They started some rumor that if you go there and stay the night, that a demon ghost haunts you and chases you away from a life adventure to save you or something. I don't know. I think it's just some bullshit some kids made up to scare each other.
Probably. But it could be fun to check out.
Yeah, they do say that like Athenia's family's supposed to live around here somewhere too, but I don't
Yeah?
know. Like, there's always a lot of rumors around
Shouldn't
here.
they be ashamed for what she did? What they did?
I mean,
Sorry, I don't know the gender.
I think most people are happy with what she did here. I mean, it
Why?
didn't really affect us too much. Everyone's kind of happy here. Like we do what we need to do, and we live our lives. We grow old. We build families. We It's kind of nice having to
You
not
don't
really
want
think too
more?
much. I mean, why would I? I have everything I can need
Why wouldn't
here.
you?
What more could I need though?
Fun, excitement,
I mean,
passion.
isn't this fun? That he like gestures around to all the people, just like laughing and enjoying
It's
themselves.
fun, but you said this only lasts for 1 week a year.
Yeah, but this is just the biggest of them all. We still like meet up with each other. We go to school. We have friends. We have lives here. There's stuff to do here. We can leave the district as well to like go to District
Seems very
4.
formulaic, though, does it not?
I mean, what would you change? I mean, it's obviously
I
working.
think that's the
It's obviously
thing.
working for me. You showed up here today, so he like
I don't
leans in, and you
know.
see his arm flex as he leans in.
I think people just be like, that's the thing about what I would change is about having the unexpected happen. Something that isn't your day to day.
Hmm. I've never really thought of that, honestly.
What if this type of, week could be all year? What if that could be all the time? Doesn't that sound more fun?
Would be a lot, but yeah, it could be fun. Honestly, usually me and my friends just go to District 4 whenever we can. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we're working all the time. Like we have time, we have free time. We do stuff. You see, he's trying to struggle to think of what stuff he does besides just work and go to District 4 and sleep around there with people. I don't know. I mean, it's not like there's much to change, really. I mean, why? I just don't see why we would want to. And like you see, he's like visibly struggling to like think of a reason why he would want to. Like you can see that lack of ambition. Like visibly, he's just like he doesn't understand where you're coming from, really. But you're hot, so he's going along with it.
Fascinating. Well, I just think people deserve more.
Maybe. I think that most people would get what they deserve, though. Like, I don't know.
I don't think they do. I don't think a lot of people actually get what they deserve at all. I think, happiness not necessarily corrupts, but it is a place of comfort. You don't go out of your way to do anything new. You just sit back in what you know, what feels safe, what does this, what does that.
You see, as you say it, he actually looks. You see a look of pity cross his face. Actually, are are you not happy?
Not that I'm not happy. I'm just through with accepting average mediocrity.
What would you What would you want to do?
Thrive rather than simply exist.
Yeah, but like doing what? Do you want to stay in District 3 and move up there? Do you want to like make something new? Like what is it that is having you think this way? Like what about your life do you not like?
The mundane, the reality of it all. The fact that things only get changed by those in power and those born into power. And people promise, the ability to grasp at power and the ability to try to achieve greatness. It's just a dream. It's a disillusioned reality. And I just think that's a bit.
Hmm. Interesting. Why don't you, we're gonna do a little question. Answer one of these two questions for me. So you're kind of
Okay.
filling this guy out. Either answer me what feels welcoming on the surface, or what feels dark or uneven or unnerving when you peer deeper at this guy.
I think she's kind of unnerved that like he's literally just happy doing this. Like it feels so simple to her. And I'm like, she's probably just like, that's so boring. Like that's
Yeah.
really all you desire. And like that's kind of what's getting at her. Just the simple desire to simply exist and that's it,
Mm-hmm.
rather than achieve anything or do anything or seek anything out.
That makes sense. I think what feels welcoming on the surface though, is like you were talking like this conversation's probably got a lot deeper than he was expected when a girl came up to him and asked him to buy a beer. Like he was expecting this to be like maybe another easy lay or just like a fun time with girl dancing or whatever. But like the longer this conversation goes on, I think what stands out to you is that like he looks genuinely interested. Like at some point this has shifted for him. Like he's never had this deep of a conversation before in his life, and it's really intriguing to him.
See, and that's what she's trying to get him to want, something different,
Yeah,
something more.
this is the most he's probably thought of anything. He's a farmhand. He doesn't do much thinking in his day to day. It's a lot of just,
Yeah, and I think that's like what she's trying to get out of this is to try to like instill that feeling of like wanting more or trying to like suss out like she's seen the lack of ambition and whatnot in others, and she's never really felt that wholeheartedly,
hmm.
but she's seeing if she can try to change that in people, I think.
Yeah, you see, he's definitely deep in thought as he takes another large swig out of his mead. I don't know. Give me a lot to think about, for sure. But I don't know. I don't really know what I would do different.
Well, I think you already do something different. You said your family's apple farmers, and here you are seeking out something not of apples.
Well, I mean,
You do
yeah.
like variety.
Cider's a lot when you drink it year long. And
Exactly.
you actually see like yeah, my brother's into that more than I am. And
Why not have more
he
variety?
points to the far of the bartender, and you see a guy that looks very similar to him selling the ciders at the bar. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This is a lot of thought. Why don't we go dancing?
All
Why
right,
don't we
let's
sure
go.
yeah, he leads you over to like the music area. And there's just people kind of just dancing and going crazy and like almost not like a full mosh pit, but like just people just kind of having fun, not really caring about
Fire
how they
mosh
look.
pit, let's go.
Yeah, it's definitely like more like line dancing and like that kind of square dancing type shit than anything else. But yeah, he happily leads you through it for maybe like as long as you're willing to dance with him.
I think
Um,
she'll definitely like at least give it a little try, you know.
yeah.
Not necessarily one last hurrah, but she does want I was like, ugh. Uh I think she's just trying to get a sense of the reality she's about to change also.
Yeah, you have a lot of fun. You probably spend like an hour or two with him on the dance floor. A lot of people around, like anywhere from you see teenagers trying to awkwardly dance on the dance floor with each other, all the way up to like other people around your guys' age, and you're like late to or early to mid 30s, kind of enjoying themselves and having as much fun as they can.
I think she's also going to so he's an apple farmer. You said
Hmm.
that there were fresh meats and whatnot. Okay, so hazmat suit is not made of leathers or anything.
Mm-mm. He did tell you that the Adventure Guild's hall is still around.
Yeah, I think that's going to be like logically her next move. I think
I think that makes the most
she's trying to
sense.
see uh if there was any little like tidbits of either information or supplies that she could get at this farmers market that would help. And but she did get information,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
that
most
mission
you need here is
success.
like provisions. I mean, you'll probably need food with you. It's gonna be a long trip.
Yeah, like
There's no trains
maybe
that
like
go in
some
the dish.
jerkies, like, you know, like little things that like are not perishable but still kind of
Yeah,
taste good and
there's no
whatnot.
really trains that go into District Zero. You're gonna have to take the train up to District One where the mine is, and then make it on foot from there, which is gonna be a long
Yeah,
trek. You're gonna like go through caverns around mountains and stuff to even get into District Zero. It's gonna be a hard travel.
yeah, fun times.
But yeah, you enjoy yourself the next few hours, not really thinking about that too much, and as like
Yeah,
the
is there a place
music.
to buy like sneakers or boots? Because I imagine
You
she
can
only
definitely
has
buy you
heels.
can definitely buy boots. They definitely have like a leather working place here. You can buy like
Yeah,
leather
like
clothing and boots and stuff like
I
that.
think she's going to need more reasonable clothing
Yeah,
and like also maybe clothing to kind of like fit in so she's
yeah.
not questioned.
As you're like dancing around and he like you do talk a little bit as you're dancing. He introduces himself by name finally. His name is Jim. Um, he's been here. He's about like late 20s, like 27 ish. Um, tells you a little about his life, his sibling, his younger brother who was running the cedar booth or the cider booth. And his dad, it's just the three of them. His mom died a while back. But yeah, as you kind of like you like, oh yeah, I'm looking for this and this and this. He kind of just starts to show you around the rest of the night. Like takes you to all the
Oh,
places you need to get you fitted in like more down dressed than what you're wearing now. Gets you like some nice leather clothes, some sturdy boots that he says will last you for a while and will help if you're going to travel at all. Even kind of points out in the distance where the guild hall is. It's still a massive building. It can be seen pretty easily, even from the train station. It's just this old decrepit building that sits right before you can look past and just see nothing but rock and mountains where you know District 1 is. But yeah, night ends and you see people starting to pull away from the market and stuff. He's like, um, this was great, actually. I really enjoyed myself.
it was fun.
Are you staying in town or
No, I think I'm going to go check some things out actually.
okay? I mean, I would love to see you again.
Maybe you will.
And he just like holds out his arms for a hug.
Yeah, I'll give him a hug. I'll give him a little sweet kiss on the cheek and like a
Yeah.
whisper of like a
He
thank you, and then
he lowers himself to hug, and then as he like kind of pulls away, you give him a kiss on the cheek. You see this grown man just go bright red. This fat boy is like humbled. It's like yeah,
if you change your mind, I might be checking out those little ghost legends.
yeah. If you're around for a while, I would definitely come back later. I have to get all of this back home first, but
Right,
yeah,
duties.
yeah. I'll see you soon.
Sounds good.
And you see he pulls out something like writes down and he hands you his phone number as well as like his address.
Perfect.
This dude is smitten.
Excellent.
He's used to talking to like simple people. He's not used to like deep conversation. But yeah, you head off. So you want to just make your way over on foot to the guild hall?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Yeah, as you approach deeper into the town and you reach the gates of this guild hall, it looks like it once was a grand mansion. It's definitely not been used in a while. The gates are rusted. There's like dust and disrepair across the whole outside of the building. And as you even open the gate door just kind of falls to the ground with a loud clang. And as you walk your way up the pathway to the guild hall door, I think this is where we will take our break.
Perfect.
So we'll take a nice little 10-15 minute break and then we'll get right back to this. Perfect. Hey everyone, welcome back from the break. We're just gonna jump right back in. So yeah, you're walking down the pathway leading up to the Adventurers Guild. As you get close to the building, it actually does kind of span super high above you. It looks like it's only 2 stories, but it's much bigger than you would expect it to be, because it kind of towers over you. As you can see, his front doors, they look rusted. The metal on the door handles, the wood looks chipped apart and decaying. His looking has been here for hundreds of years.
Um, all right, let's go to the front doors.
Okay, perfect. You gonna head inside?
Yep.
Yeah, you open the
Assuming
door.
there's like not any like immediate signs to hey, turn back right
No,
now.
you don't
Like,
see
okay.
anything. It just looks this looks decrepit, honestly. And as you go to open the handle, like your arm actually goes through the door as the handle just kind of breaks through the hole. So you're like, oh, okay. And then you go to push the door, and the door even kind of just breaks a little bit as it opens. Like this wood is like completely petrified. Yeah,
Hopefully they have maintenance.
yeah.
I don't think they do.
You get inside. There's a big empty like foyer area. Well, if you see like a what looks like used to be the Adventures Guild crest is kind of like crumbled a little bit as you see stone like on the floor. A part of it's fallen off. But I think the thing you do notice the most is like you kind of map out this hallway. The floor does not look as dusty as you would expect it to be if no one was coming in and out
Interesting.
of here. It definitely looks like it's definitely people have been in this area.
Okay. On one hand, like my first instinct is to go near the like the crest because that
Hmm.
might be where like the spirit is like going off of like ghost shit and whatnot. Like that might be where like the spirit or whatever is like tied the most to. But if the floor isn't as dusty as I would expect it to, I don't know if she wants to be like out in the open per se.
Hmm.
Um, is there like a small alcove in the main room? I guess maybe what she'll do is just actually kind of like traverse the halls just to kind of stake it out and see what's going on, see if there's like any other people in here or whatnot.
Yeah, you move through the lower floors. There's like a big reception hall. There's a banquet dining room. There's a fancy kitchen. There's a library. Everything looks like it's fallen apart with age, but it does look used. Like you see the kitchen is stocked with food. There's somehow power going to some of the equipment in here. You go to the library, you definitely see some of the books looking less dusty than others, as if someone has been pulling them off the shelves to read.
I would like to see the titles of the not as dusty books.
It looks like a mix. It looks like it's been a lot of like fiction. Definitely a lot of the fiction for sure has been read. But then just like history books, a lot specifically on the history of the guild specifically. And as you're kind of approaching the library and kind of looking around, you see on one of the side tables there is a book actually there on the first GodKiller, Adenia, like an autobiography.
I would like to, kind of flip through that, see motivations, how they went about doing it. Was there a special weapon, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it looks like it's like a personal autobiography that Adenia wrote in her later years, and it was kind of not fully regretting her choice, but wondering about the effects as she notices how the effects over the years affect everyone around her. How she's happy that no one else is going to lose their lives to adventure or throwing themselves under the mercy of a god, but also people are just not trying anymore. And like how she's sad that this is what it's had to come to. But yeah, the way she looks like is she was able to find a cardinal early on in her hunt at the dots, and that power that she got from that person actually helped her track down that
Did
god
she kill her
specifically.
cardinal?
She did.
Okay. Then I
You
don't feel
you see
nearly as
you see
bad.
her fully like she didn't just kill her cardinal, she killed a whole crew of like a whole ship crew because her cardinal was a merchant, a ship merchant. She pretty much killed a whole crew of people. And then you even see like clip-ins that she put in there of a news report of this merchant vessel being brutally murdered in the middle of the night over the docks of District 3. But yeah, you see that she hunted him down. She made her way to God's Isle after getting some extra money and was able to trace down him after a gladiator event and found him in his temple where she confronted him. and about how he tried to use the image of her beloved cousin who died on one of those quests to try to throw her off, but she was able to kill him.
Interesting. How much money does it cost to get to God's Isle?
It costs about 5 gold each way,
Okay.
and gold is like D&D gold. Like most people, most day-to-day people will not have even a gold piece. Most people, like everyone in district, like the farmland you're at, they deal in copper. Like they
Got
do
it.
not, they rarely ever see gold.
But you did say it was harvest week and there were some wealthier looking people there.
Yeah, there was.
Okay. So I think B's plan is to kind of stake this out tonight and then potentially rob someone tomorrow.
Fair. So, do you want to move further into the place, or do you want to find somewhere to kind of chill for the night here?
Yeah, like I want to at least like stake out the entire first floor.
Yeah, you got through the whole first floor. The library's in the back, so you're just trying to in the library now.
Okay.
We did see like a grand staircase leading up to the second level, but you haven't explored that yet.
Let's go to the second level. Let's see what's there.
Okay, cool. You head up to second level, and you find a lot of quarters. You find an armory that's kind of in disrepair. Like even if you grab a sword, the sword kind of snaps at the handle.
Yeah.
You do see some like hazard equipment here. You see some what looks like hazmat suits, some like rations. The rations are
Yeah,
definitely
I
expired.
definitely wanna hit up with that
Yeah, I mean,
hazard equipment.
there's definitely enough here that you think it would last you a bit, but it probably will need some touching up before you use it. But
Well,
it's a
the good news
start.
is I might have some imagination or ideas on how to do that after that chariot
Do you want
murder.
to wield your divinity on this equipment you found?
I think so, yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. So let me open the moves again. So you're gonna wield a power. Okay, so 2d6 and you get to add for each of these statements that are true. You've done this act before, you have not, so you cannot add one for that. You're desperate for this to work. You can add one if you mark one strain. And then the last one, you're close to a shrine, lair, or domain of the god you took this power from. You are not. So you can add one if you take a mark of strain. Otherwise, it's a flat roll.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
I'll take
cool.
a thing of strain.
So we'll add a point of damage to you here. And go ahead and make your 2d6 roll.
Another 5 and a 3.
So that makes it a 9. So on a hit, you do it. What do you do?
I think she wants to repair this to near perfection of usability where she can feel confident that she won't succumb to the elements and
Okay.
she can focus more on strategy and getting her head in the game,
Yeah.
as High School Musical put it.
God damn it. Uh,
I'm so sorry.
God, now the music's on my head now. God damn it, Jenna. Um. Okay. As you pull
Yeah.
out this golden quill that you received after killing your art teacher, and you try to like do something with this power, you try to channel it. Your arm starts to move on its own, and kind of like as you move, like this golden ink kind of traces all the equipment and starts to absorb into it. And by the time your arm's done moving, you're kind of in a trance, and you blink. You have perfect hazard gear laying in front of you. Hazmat suit perfectly fine, an oxygen tank. Even the rations nearby are fresh now.
Perfect.
Everything that was in this like this hazard area has been perfect condition. But as you channel this power and you feel it kind of the divinity kind of spark out of you as you use it, you hear footsteps.
Do
Hello?
they? What does the voice sound
Is it?
like?
It sounds like a lady in her mid, like older age. Is it you damn children again in here? I told you there's no ghost. And as she opens the door, you see an older lady in her probably mid to late 50s who looks remarkably like Adenia. Like you've seen pictures of Adenia in the past. This person's definitely related to her and is definitely strongly favors her. You think you might have found the person you're looking for. Who are and she looks at the how did you what are you doing here? Who are you?
Well, what if I told you I was looking for a ghost?
There's no ghost here. It's just me.
Even better. You can actually speak to me.
What exactly are you here for?
The thing is I don't know the exact answer I'm looking for. I'm just looking for information and materials and perhaps wisdom.
To do what exactly?
I wouldn't concern yourself with that. But let's just say when, the whole Adventurers Guild died, not all ambition died with it.
Hmm. And you come here,
Mhm.
you fit what looks like hazard gear to me. Do you have any care for your own life? I can kind of piece together what you're
Not
doing
for the
here.
way it is going right now. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of settling.
So you are
I
here,
seek to make things better for people,
and
to free
why
them from the golden shackles of mediocrity.
do you, do you think people want that, or is this just what you want?
Why can't it be both?
I am my great cousin thought the same. And look where we're at now. Why do you think you're gonna make any difference?
It's not a matter of thinking if I will make a difference. It's taking that difference into my own hands and making it happen. I don't think I'm going to make a difference. I am going to make a difference because I'm going to do it myself.
So you think you're gonna hunt down whoever you're hunting down and just do what you want with the world without any concern of anyone else?
Well, people are already doing what they want with the world. Why shouldn't I see some power for myself? What dictates who gets to decide this, if not your own desire?
I'm not gonna stop you. I honestly don't really care enough to,
Exactly.
but grab what you need, stay if you need to for the night.
How
Just
did she survive? How did she do it?
like she told any of us. I mean, I'm sure you read the legends. She somehow got this power, was able to find him in his own temple and murder him. No one really knows what happened after. We know the gods were angry.
So it was that simple.
We know people were amazed. We know that her legend grew, but she was just another bitter old woman in her life afterwards. Her actions had consequences that she didn't foresee.
And that is what I'm looking to change.
And how do you know it won't be the same for you? How do you know you won't regret
I
this?
don't. But it's got to be better than this.
And what's wrong with what you have now?
Everything.
Well, I'm not
I
gonna
wasn't
stop you. I'm not
going
gonna.
to. Yeah.
I would suggest resting and getting whatever knowledge you think you need in the library downstairs. We have information on all the districts, on all the gods. Feel free to browse it, but I just hope you're making the right decision.
Makes two of us.
And you just see her sigh and turn around and leave the room. And you hear her footsteps kind of peter off as you hear her move further down the hall to where you saw the like the living quarters earlier.
And now I'll be looking for information on all of the districts.
Yeah.
She kind of just sparked that. I'm like, I should probably
Yeah,
research
you
this.
head back to the library and you research for the night. I mean, the districts are pretty self-explanatory. District Zero is where the gods reside when they're not in God's Isle. Some of them have made homes there. Some of them just kind of frequent there because they're the ones that can really live there safely when they're not in the celestial realms. District One is just full of mountains and caverns and mines that a lot of gems and metals and stuff like that are mined. It's really hard work. A lot of the lower class don't even survive the work. Like there's a 30% mortality rate for that job, but those who don't have farmland don't really have any other choice, so they do it. Um, District 2 is where a lot of the lower class lives. It's mostly farmland, there's merchants, stuff like what you saw when you were there. Um, they generally stay pretty much out of the rest of the activities in the enclave and are pretty isolated from the rest of the enclave as a whole. District 3 just confirms what you already know. It's a business hub. Life's pretty standard there. There's suburbs that surround the major cities in District 3. People go in and out of work, different corporations that run like the steampunk technology that's slowly growing, as well as kind of a lot of like the distribution centers and like professional services and like law firms and accounting and all that kind of stuff that you would need in like a corporate setting. District 4 is red light district. It's nothing but it's like Vegas, but mixed with Amsterdam. It's
What's that?
literally gambling and prostitution and just pretty much whatever your heart desires is probably going to be there. And no one manages it because the gods and the rich do not care to. So there's really no laws in District 4. They even have warnings when you go into that district that you're no one's reliable or liable for your life once you enter that area. And then there's God's Isle, where the upper echelon live, the rich, the powerful, the government, they all live there alongside a lot of the gods. All the gods reside there and go there for like vacation. It's pretty much a tropical paradise that sits in the middle of the enclave.
And you said homie was in district uh Z-
Yeah, T2's in District Zero. He's
yeah,
from what you've picked up, he does not go out into society a lot the way his powers work.
perfect.
So, but
Are there
yeah.
any maps or anything? Like is
Yeah,
there
you find him
a
out. So pretty
uh
much the way this land's set up, God's Isle is an island in the middle, and then the land kind of there's like a circle of landmass around that can so God's Isle can only really be reached by train that kind of goes into the water and out through, or by boat. The districts kind of just go in a ring though. So District Zero is here, and then it goes one, two, three, four, and back around.
okay.
So you would either have to go all the way around into District 4 and work your way through all that to get there, or you can go to District 1 and make it from foot there through all like the caverns and mountains and stuff.
And I'm pretty confident that the gear I have would get me through District 1.
Yeah, the deer that you
Let's
just
go.
made.
Let's just do that.
Okay, cool. So
Easy
you
peasy.
know rest for the night and then head out
Hopefully.
in the morning. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So night passed uneventfully. You don't really hear from that old lady anymore. Actually, even if you look for her in the morning, you don't see her around. So like she's kind of just washed her hands of the situation at this point. But yeah, you find some storage stuff that you can bring with you to hold all the gear you need, and you make your way to the train station to take you up to District 1. Um, it is a weekend, so not many people are heading that way to work the mines. And as you get there, it's kind of empty. No one really comes here if they don't have to. You work your way out, you see some people work at the train station, just kind of curious at you, kind of with like you're like with full survival gear, but they're just like, oh, it's just they see like your normal attire, and they're like, oh, it's just some rich kid trying to do something, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. We are gonna have you roll. Hmm. I'm gonna say this is an impulsive act. I feel like you just kind of went. Like,
Yeah.
so you answer one of these two questions and I'll answer the other one. What advantage do you see as you traverse into District Zero from here? Or what trouble hits you hard and fast?
I think the advantage that I do have is because of like her hot-headedness, it does kind of just urge her to be like, no, this is the right path, like
Hmm.
this is what you're supposed to be doing, and like rather than kind of like overthinking everything and whatnot. And she just goes for it, and because of that, there isn't any moments of hesitation where something unexpected could happen.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you kind of make your way through District 1 pretty rapidly. You find different caverns that lead you up. You kind of follow the map that you saw and kind of make your way through the mountains in. Pretty uneventful for the most part. It takes you a few hours to reach the border of District 0, and you can even see, like, just where you know the border is, there's literally, like, no life once that border is passed. Like, you see just what it looks like a wasteland to you. You see some bright lights in the distances that might be different domains of these gods that reside here, but you're so far away right now it's really hard to judge. Trouble that hits you hard and fast. The moment you pass this border and you put all your gear on and stuff, you immediately take 1 point of strain. This feels like your body is tearing itself apart. Even with all this gear on protecting you, you know that this place will eventually deteriorate you. Like, it's so hard to even move. Your speed has halved. You're like sluggishly moving through this area. And you can just see, you can even if you look down inside the suit, you can see your skin is already starting to redden as if it's like being burnt. You know, you're going to have maybe a few hours if you're lucky. So you need to move quick.
Gotta do it quick.
So, where are you heading? Because you don't really know what's near. Where do you want to go towards?
Well, wasn't there a map or something of where his house is that I found in the classroom?
Hmm. Give me a 2d6 roll, and we'll see if there was that detailed of instructions there or not.
Let's fucking go. 4 and a 6, 10.
Okay, yeah, there was definitely lines. He was deep in the center of District 0, like dead center, as far away from any of the other dots as he can.
All right.
And as you start
Heading
making your
straight
way there,
there.
you do see, like, as you kind of trace around the map, you see this reddish glow from like the middle. And as you get closer and you eventually make it there, it's not what you expect. It's a simple log cabin with smoke billowing out of the chimney. A very luscious grass land around it and like a mini forest behind it, which is weird to see when you look like a few feet to the right and then there's just more wasteland next to you. But it's just like this little undisturbed like forest log cabin area. And as you open the gate and step into this place, you feel a lot of relief as like the effects that were affecting you from the wasteland kind of recede. And you feel it is safer here.
I see the smoke billowing, and I'm kind of clocking that this entire house is made out of wood, just in case I have to burn it down.
Yeah, this place feels very homely, and you actually feel a connection from your quill to this house somehow.
Perfect. I'm going to try something. Do I have like a notebook or anything?
Sure, you can have a notebook.
I want to write down Tiku is sitting in the living room right when you walk in and see if that dictates it to be so.
Okay.
Well,
So you write that down for quill. You want to will to power. Will to power. Roll me 2d6. Do you want to mark a third straight or do you just want to do this
no,
flat?
I just flat.
Okay.
4 to 3, 7 on an
Okay.
average.
That's a hit. So you do it. You walk in. He's in the living room. What you see is a man in his probably prime, honestly. He's probably in his 40s, but he looks really put together. Slightly muscular, about 6'2". Kind of like a Native American skin tone. More of the land, obviously by his decor and stuff around. It's very, very simple home. There's a fur rug in front of a fire. He's sitting at a chair reading. Doesn't even react as you walk in. There's like a long couch, and then there's just like a little modest kitchen, and you see a door you would assume leads to a bedroom or something in the back, but It's not what you would expect from a god to be living in.
No.
And as you open the door and close it, he did without even looking up. He's like, "Just make sure to take your shoes off at the door, please. I'll be with you after this chapter." And he just continues to read his book.
I think that kind of piques her interest and also gives her a little bit of a newfound respect for him. And she will respect that because, you know, this might be the last few moments of his life. Might as well finish this chapter. And she's not going to devoid him of that at the very least.
Yeah. You see, he's reading some book that you can't even you literally can't even make out the title. It's in some you're assuming some celestial language. It actually hurts your eyes to look at the title for too long. And after like a few more minutes, as he closes the book and sets it down, he kind of stretches a little bit.
What
It's
happened to the chapter?
it's just sorry, it's just a history text. Just doing some research and some stuff. What can I do for you? V was it?
It was, but I didn't tell you that.
I mean, I kind of know already pretty much anything, especially once you enter here. So, what can I do for you? Why don't you have a seat? He like gestures to the couch across from him.
You have tea.
I do have tea. You want what kind do you want?
Whatever your favorite is.
Certainly. And you see him like lick his fingers, and you feel a similar spark of divinity. And this little tea tray floats over from the kitchen and just hovers in between the two of you. And it pours out 2 cups of steaming tea. And as you go to sip it, it's like really sweet lemon tea.
It must be nice to be able to just bend reality at will.
Yeah. It's I don't have much want of anything. Much need to leave here. No desire really to leave here. Occasionally I get visitors such as yourself.
Huh.
So,
Who was your last visitor?
hmm. My last visitor. Let me think. Let me think. Just a few millennia ago? No, it wasn't that long. Maybe like 800 years ago. I don't really remember the name, and not like it really matters. He doesn't exist anymore. He
You have
came
that little
here.
regard for life.
He came here demanding answers and demanding that I change his life and do this or that for no reason, and was very abrasive. So I changed his life. I erased him.
Must be nice to be able to do that. Like that.
I mean, you're gonna come into my house without manners. I don't see why I should go out of my way to do anything for you. He got what he wanted. His life changed. It's not the way he imagined. He lived a very unremarkable life for the rest of his life, and no one knew about it or even knew of him.
When's the last time you did a favor for someone? Change their life for the better. When's the last time you've done something good for just to do something good?
The last time would have been, let me think, 20 of your years ago, I think. Feels about right. There was a abusive mother over in District 2. Is that the farmland?
It is.
Yeah, worked on an apple orchard and was very abusive to her 2 sons. And the dad came to me for help. So I granted his wish. She fell
But
ill.
you created that reality that
I
they
did.
lived and had to escape from.
I don't create
So,
all of reality. I can affect it. But you all
and you
have
choose not
free
to.
will.
I'm
If
sorry, I'm not trying to demand anything. I'm just trying to get a sense of.
if I changed all of your realities to my own needs or my own thoughts of what it should be, that would just rob you all of your free will. Why
And
would I do such a
yet,
thing?
and yet your cardinal robbed so many of their free will and their ideas and their minds and what made them so very special.
I can't dictate what my followers do. He proved
You
himself
could.
many
You
years
actually
ago.
really could because you control that reality.
Once I grant a power, once any of us grant a power to a mortal, they have divinity over that domain. We can't really have as much of an effect as they can on it. So when he took over imagination was his. I had no power there.
You're not as much of a dick as I thought you were going to be.
Dear, everything's not so black and white.
But
I'm
why do you
just
make it so in so many people's realities? People are born into squalor and suffering, and nothing ever changes for them. And people are always told, oh, you can be whatever you want to be, you can do whatever you want. But that's not actually true, is it?
that's a product of the society that you mortals have built. That's not something that I affect. Yeah, I can affect
But it's something you
reality.
could affect.
It is something I could affect. But if I did that, more problems would arise. Other problems will always come up. Let's face it, mortals are impulsive, they're greedy, they crave power, they crave this or that. If I interfered every single time something was going bad, that wouldn't really be living for you guys, would it?
I don't know. I've never had anything like that.
Yeah, I don't
But
think.
you know why I'm here,
I'm
don't
assuming
you?
you want something or you want to kill me. One of the two. I mean,
Ding,
I
ding,
can
ding.
taste. He like inhales. Ah, that's why you mentioned Greg. I see you have a new item on you. So you are here for that. Ah, well, it's been a while since that's happened. What what do you want out of this?
I want to change the reality for many. I want to take away the pain, the suffering of the throes that they're born into. I want to make it so that they can choose what they want and actually be able to achieve it. To erase those societal boundaries that so many think they're so powerful to instill.
So you think you can
I don't think I
single
know.
you want to single-handedly erase all problems in classism just with what? One wave of your hand? Is that what you think that how easy that is?
I want to give people a damn fighting chance.
Interesting. Well, it's been a while since I've had to do anything, so I'll entertain this, I suppose. You have been very courteous, at least, better than the last couple of guests I've had. He stands up, and as he stands up, the whole log cabin you're in changes. You are no longer in a log cabin. You guys are standing on what looks like an abandoned street down in District 3. Just like apartment buildings. Think very much like New York, crammed apartment buildings stacked on top of each other, and just like this, what would should be a busy road, just completely devoid of cars. Figured we'd make it a little more familiar for you.
Perfect.
Now, when this ends, what do you want me to write on your tombstone?
I was just going to ask you the same question.
I do like confidence. What would you like to do, Jenna?
I don't know. Let's fucking go. Let's throw down.
Okay. Roll inflict violence. Roll
I would like to
2d6.
throw down.
You get to add one for each true statement, which in these would be you're desperate and it's personal. They do not actually wish you harm. They're not gonna add that,
Yeah.
so they don't really. This is not personal for them. So, 2d6 plus two.
All right, we got 1 6. That's gonna be 2 6s.
Okay, so it's overkill. You lose yourself to righteous fury. The DM will tell you to cost your divinity. So yeah, you charge in. You like imagine yourself, and as you do so, like imagine like what you're gonna do, kind of like in the one Sherlock Holmes movie where he like pits out the fight in his head first and then does exactly that. You feel the quill glow and you go in to do that, and you landed really good hits on him. You actually get in within his guard and you start jabbing and hitting him in his ribs, hitting him across the face, like kicking him in the back of the knee, bringing him down. But as that like imagination kind of peters off from this like fury of blows, you take a strain as you feel your body like seize up from harnessing too much power too quickly, and you kind of
As I
step
feel my
back.
body seize up, I would like to kind of just like potentially not necessarily snap out of it, but he controls reality, or does he control the illusion of reality? Are we still in his house, or are we actually on this street? Is there a way to I can determine that?
You're still in this house, for
Okay.
sure.
Um,
He's just altered your perceptions of where you're at.
and there's a fireplace.
There's a
I want to kick the
fireplace.
fur rug into the fireplace.
Okay. You reach out, and as you like, you feel this doing the like kind of fluctuating in your body and hurting, you kick at where you remember, like generally from where you were standing to where you think the rug was, and you see a spark of fire start to go. And what it appears like as you guys are here is you see all the apartment buildings on the side of you start to catch a flame. And for the first time, as he looks around, he looks pissed.
There it
Mortals,
is.
I invite you so nicely into my home, and you try to burn it down.
That is a boring. Figured I'd liven it up a bit.
Yeah, we should. I'm gonna have you roll 2d6 for me as your attempted fate. He's very fucking mad right now. And I will say none of the bonuses because, yeah.
2 and a 6, 8.
Okay. So
My metal dice are
you're
being so
not you're
nice
not
to
gonna take
me.
any strain from this, but as he clips his fingers, this fake reality falls back, and you're back inside the cabin, which now is just on fire around you guys. And he just walks up and boots you in the chest, and you fly out the window into the front lawn. And he just follows you out. He looks back at his house, and you see him actually like absentmindedly grab where a mortal's heart would be and just squeeze and look in discomfort. Looks back at you. Well, I was actually starting to like you.
Well, I have a certain charm about me.
Yeah.
They get under people's skin. Unforgettable, even. Or have I been so perfectly average in mediocrity? Just so complacent, so nice, so tepid.
Hey, I mean, that's the fault of you mortals. Didn't one of you kill my grandfather?
Probably.
I think that falls on your kind for the lack of want to get out of that mediocrity. But here you are. You think you're going to change the world. You're not the first to think so. You probably won't be the last.
Like I said, I don't think. I know I am. And now it's time for me to actually seize that.
Okay, well, get up then. What do you like to do, Jenna?
I don't know. I'm looking at the moves.
I mean, it's really just inflict violence or wield your power.
Yeah,
Those are the main
let's
things
fucking
you can do.
go.
You want to inflict violence, or you want to try to wield some power on him?
Let's build some power over him.
Okay.
He thinks he's being so smart, so confident. Let's do it back.
You are close to a shrine, lair, domain of the god you took this power from, so that is +1. Do you want to add a strain for another point, or are you just going with the +1?
Nah, I'm gonna keep that +1.
Okay.
B is power hungry. Jenna is like, all right, let's chill a little bit, girl. 6 and a 3.
Okay, that's a 10, so this is overkill. So, what do you want to do? And I'm going to tell the effect that also happens from you doing this, because you are overcharging your divinity.
I want there to be some sort of, not like an explosive blast, but when something very flammable catches flame in his house and like the windows, the glass get blown out and he has to shield himself from the blowback.
Yeah. You kind of pull out your quill and you start doing that trance again. And what comes out is like a gust of wind, like a huge gust of wind that the fire eats this oxygen from this wind and just combust. And you see him shield himself as he's hit by the debris of his house, like wood and metal and shit just piercing his body, and he looks very hurt. What also happens, you break the atmosphere of this little place to the point where you once again start to feel your body deteriorate, but this time you're not in your hazard gear.
Mm.
So you feel it worsening already as you take your fourth strain. And he is also looking very hurt. Both of you are on your last legs at this point. And as you look up, you see, you as you look down your body, you already see like some of your veins have ruptured. You literally see like blood kind of running through underneath your skin. You feel your body's muscles tightening. You feel even some of your bones creaking a little bit. And your eye, you like go up to touch your face and you're bleeding from your eyes and your nose. But as you look at him, he's also fought up.
Now to if I wrote so like I don't want to do this metagame here. But I want to will into existence through like the quill.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily like a surge of determination, but finding, you know, when you get like an adrenaline rush where you find the comfort in being pushed to like an extreme, even
Mm-hmm.
if it's like terrible for your body. That's kind of what like I want to find.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So you want to
So
like
I don't know if
use.
that's like through the quill or through an act of violence.
No, I think you just push yourself through that. I don't think you need to use that to have an adrenaline rush, especially at this
Okay,
moment. So do you just want to inflict violence on him and try to.
let's do it.
Okay, go for it. This roll will probably decide how this fight ends. They do wish you harm. You are desperate, and it is personal. So these are definitely a +3 to this roll.
Oh, perfect, because that's a 6 and a 2.
So it's an 11. So this is overkill. So you are going to get to roll kill a god here in a second. But as you lose yourself to righteous fury, you are also going to take a point of strain because you kind of overdo it. You go in on this guy to the point where you push your body past its limits and your body is already falling apart. So you're both going to, as this fight ends and you knock him down and you're standing over, I don't even say you're standing, you're like collapsed next to him. Both of you are kind of laying there. You're going to make 2 rolls for me.
All right.
You're going to make kill a god and you're going to roll what happens when you suffer your 5th strain. So first, let's roll kill a god. Roll 2d6.
4 and a 5.
Okay, on a hit, they see something vital from you as well. So you kill them, but they take a vital part of yourself that you love about yourself.
Oh damn.
What do they pull from you?
Honestly, it might be something kind of vain because I think she's always had the ability to fall back on her looks to get what she wants. And
Okay.
you know, like kind of like not necessarily like the pretty privilege and like the comfort of having that, but something similar to that.
Cool. You feel yourself age 20 years.
Oh shit. Am I at least a MILF?
No, you are a
Oh no.
perfectly average looking wrinkled 50-year-old. But
Terrible.
as you reach over, you feel out your power, you take that quill once more and stab it into this god's eye, killing him, and you feel him start to deteriorate against you. You look down and you see a similar quill stab through your stomach as you take your last point of strain. Are you going to choose to succumb to your assistance, or are you going to try to roll to survive this?
Yeah, let's try to survive it.
Okay, roll me 2d6, and we'll see what happens here.
5 and a 5.
Okay, so this is a strong hit, so this will clear all strain. So, as this happens, you kill this god and you feel him try to take you with him. And you look into his eyes and you see not the hatred you would think you would see in his eyes in this moment. You see acceptance, you see relief, then you see pity as he looks at you. And he gurgles out, "I hope this is what you wanted, child." And as he disintegrates and this divinity enters your body, you feel yourself heal fully. You feel this atmosphere stabilize around you. And it actually reshapes this area into you're in your own apartment. What feels like your apartment. You can feel that it's not. You can feel your connection to this space, this domain. And as you settle into these powers, you feel that you can still have the minor changes that you can do with imagination. That's still the power that you wield. But in this moment, as he dies in this place of reality, you can change something about this world. In this moment, as he dies, you can grasp those strings of reality and change something vital. What do you do? What does V reshape?
There are no more rich people.
There are no more rich people. Cool.
But there's also no poverty. Everyone.
Cool. You know what equalizes a lot of stuff? There's alerts that go all over the districts in this moment. As there is an explosion in God's Isle. You look up, you see beams of light as gods leave the plane, sensing something's happening. You see their lights return into District Zero where you're at. You see these people hitting different places around you, or you see some going into the skies, retreating to the celestial realm. In the decades that follow the death of TQ and the changing of reality to V, all-out war takes over the Enclave. There was an attack on God's Isle that killed many of the rich and famous and governments and stuff. And they tried to declare martial law. They tried to take back over, but the miners of District 1, some of the farm help in District 2, even some of the business people in District 3 sided against them, even knowing that's where they get most of their money from. Honestly, District 4 was already pretty fucked up. They kind of stay out of it.
They're just vibing.
They're still just
literally
vibing. But a war goes on for decades, to the point that it almost brings the Enclave to collapse again. But there's no more poverty.
Let's go.
There's no more rich people. There's not much of a classism to deal with. It's more about survival. And in the decades that pass, people start to forget why they're even fighting. And war continues on. And that is where we're going to leave this one shot. As B has caused a full war in this place. So, we'll see you guys next time for the next episode of this. And we'll see the effects of the fallout here as we will move another couple centuries ahead and see what the Enclave looks like after war takes place for so long. But with that, this has been GodKiller Generations, and we'll see you next time.